Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Stephanie. We're going to get started in just a few minutes here. We would love to know where you all are calling in from. First things, if you want to drop in the chat, make sure that you are posted on everyone. Hosts and panelists might be automatically the first thing that you see. So go ahead and click on everyone and let us know where you are calling in from. Tampa, Florida. Hi, Joanne. We are actually heading there for an offsite at the end of next month. So super excited. Never been to Tampa before. PA, Toronto. Love it. Kansas City, New Orleans, Stanford. Yay, another Pacific Northwester. Hi, David. Northern Virginia. Y'all are cold on the East Coast. Sorry, Texas, Pennsylvania. We have a great group of folks from all over. Oh, hi, Caleb. Yes, Kentucky. Hello. Kansas. My goodness, I feel like we might hit all of the states here. For those of you that are just joining us, we are again so excited to have you here today. Folks are just dropping into the chat where they are calling in from. We will get started here in about 1 minute. We have a huge group joining us today. And then we'll go ahead and talk through the agenda that we're going to have. I will introduce my amazing co-hosts that will be walking through the webinar with us, and then we will get started. We'll also make sure that we're leaving time at the end for Q&A for everyone. So nice. We've got a couple of Ohio folks, Colorado. I think we might actually hit a 50 state mark if we get Hawaii and Alaska too. This is amazing. All right, we are at almost 100 folks so far and climbing. Again, we're going to get started here in just about a minute. If you're just joining us, we are dropping in the chat where we are all located, and then we'll get started here. Caleb, I agree. I think everybody in the US right now wouldn't mind heading to Hawaii with the weather that we're all having.
Although it's been pretty mild here in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, as compared to the rest of the country. So,
Yep. We did have our cold front. Eric, Joel and I are all in the same area in the Pacific Northwest, and so we had our little bit of a cold snap, not anything like you all had.
yeah.
But it's been our normal gray and rain, so we're back to normal. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks again for joining us. Welcome to our first webinar of 2026. We know everybody is juggling a whole lot in Q1. We want to make sure that you and your events have the best swag possible. So before we jump in again, how many folks here are wearing swag? You can go ahead and type it in the chat. You can type me. This can be hoodies, emotional support water bottles, tote bags. If you wore sunglasses to the office that are branded, amazing. Look at all these folks. Awesome. Anybody have a fun or unique piece of swag that they have or are wearing that's in front of them? Feel free to drop in the chat.
So I gotta show this. This is probably one of my favorite pieces. I went to the University of Washington, which I'll talk about in a minute. But this water bottle is it was actually a USA made water bottle by a company called Liberty Bottle Works, and it's Husky branded. So this is my favorite piece.
Amazing. I actually have this little, it's hard to kind of see right now. It is a purple mattress stress ball. I have had it for years. I got it walking by a purple store one time, but I absolutely love it. It just goes to show the power of branding. So, with that all in mind, Snappy branded waterproof Bluetooth speaker. Awesome. So, folks, my name is Stephanie Young. I am the Prestige Project Manager here at Snappy. So, I work in tandem with our sales and CS teams to support our largest enterprise customers. I've been with Snappy for about 4 years now, working in all different areas of the company. And now I get to do really fun things like help host these types of events. So, I would love to introduce to you my coworker, Eric Hamlin, who is our VP of Swag, to get started.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Okay, so you can see here, this is me. I'm wearing another one of my favorite pieces of branded merchandise, this Dad Gang hat, because I do have two young ones, and I rock this when I'm out there on the weekends with the kiddos. I have been with Snappy just over 4 years. Prior to Snappy, I spent about 17 years in the branded merchandise space. So I live, breathe, eat, sleep swag. So I've done everything from pull a squeegee to print a t-shirt to pick and pack orders for online stores to spend some time in China visiting all the factories that are making the product. So I love swag. I'm super excited today to be chatting with Joel. I've known Joel for a while. To give you some context, Joel is the CEO of Cutter and Buck. Him and I are both University of Washington Husky graduates. While we didn't go to school together, we both are proud Huskies, and we live in the Pacific Northwest. I think he's probably like if I could throw a stone really, really hard, I think I could hit his neighborhood from where I live. So we're very close. So Joel, I'll let you give a brief intro on who you are, and then we'll get started.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for having me today. It's really exciting to be here with everybody. I'm actually in Dallas today. I'm not in Eric's next door neighborhood in Seattle. I'm in Dallas today, where we are opening our next fulfillment center right here in Grand Prairie, Texas. So that's happening right now. So I apologize for my background in a beautiful courtyard Marriott that's here. It's actually a very, very nice hotel. Yeah, I come from Seattle. I wasn't born there, born in California, very typical, but raised in Seattle. Went to the University of Washington alongside Eric, and it's a huge school, so a lot of us don't cross paths while we're there. But certainly a proud Husky, go Dogs. That's our main cheer. If it's not bow down to Washington, which is a little bit less respectful out there. But yeah, I've been with Cutter and Buck. I got out of college, got out of the University of Washington on a Saturday. I started for Cutter and Buck on a Monday as a sales intern in 1999 and have been at Cutter and Buck ever since. So I live and breathe brand and to call it branded merchandise, but really branded sportswear for me is my more than half my life has been spent in this doing working for Cutter and Buck. And yeah, started there as an intern and just did a lot of different jobs at the company, kind of lateral, vertical, moving up, a lot of battlefield promotions along the way, as things go along here, and then wound up as CEO in 2014. And it was April Fool's Day 2014, and I'll never forget because my wife's aunt texted me that she thought it was an April Fool's Day joke that I had become CEO. So I always tease her about that, but I have to remind myself that some people thought it was a joke that I was becoming CEO. So anyway, I've been doing this for a long time. Really happy to work with Snappy and partners to service customers like you all out there. Really just love what Snappy does to deliver a really phenomenal experience. And so that's just really cool. So this is a company that's on the cutting edge, on the front line, and really making things happen for the future. So I'm really excited to have an opportunity to partner.
That's awesome. And I'll speak to the partnership. We absolutely love Cutter and Buck. I've had the chance to visit one of their Seattle fulfillment center, and it is amazing the technology, Joel, that you have implemented in there with that auto store and how fast you can turn single piece decorated items. It's something that I think more people should, see how the sausage is made and see just how complicated it is to get one piece delivered to a recipient. So great work on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. So, Eric, why don't you kick off telling everybody a little bit about who we are at Snappy?
Absolutely. Okay. So for those of you, I think we've got folks on the line that are current customers, maybe some people that are thinking about what Snappy does or just curious on how Snappy operates. At our core, we are an employee gifting and recognition platform. And so one of the things that we really focus on is taking that time-old tradition of gift giving and bringing it into the digital world. And we do that through a couple different ways. The first is we've got a digital unwrapping experience that can be a variety of different images, like a scratch screen or a video that can all be customized to the company's brand. Then there's a greeting card that they can open up and they can see, if it's celebrating a specific moment or some type of recognition, they can read that. They then can choose a gift from a curated collection of items. Those items can be branded, like we're going to talk about today. They can also be unbranded, and there's a variety of other things that we do. And then at the very end, to complete that circle, is the recipient is able to say thank you back to whoever gave them that gift. So it's a really nice way to tie everything together. And because we are global, it makes gifting across the globe very easy. So, just some quick stats on who we are. We work with over 8,000 customers. Over half of the Fortune 100 leverage our platform for ongoing gifting. But one of the things that we're really, really happy about and we're proud of is how highly rated we are from both the recipients that are getting the gift and then the folks that are using the platform on a daily basis. One last just comment on the totality of what Snappy does. So we're talking about swag, everything that we're putting a logo on, but we do a lot more than that. We've got experiences in the platform. You can book vacations. We've got unbranded name brand gifts that you can send out. We also support donations, and we do like snacks and treats. So it's a very large universe of hundreds of suppliers with hundreds of thousands of items that are available. All right, Joel, you want to give us an overview on
Great.
what Cutter is?
Yeah, thank you so much. So Ashley here is at Alki Point, which is in West Seattle, where both Seattle was founded, right there on Alki Point, and Cutter and Buck was founded right behind her. So right at the base of the Space Needle there is where Cutter and Buck was founded, right near Pike Place Market. You name the iconic place in Seattle, we've been established right there for a long time, since 1989, and really establishing this premium Northwest or the Pacific Northwest lifestyle brand has been very critical for us, and we've kept that going for a long time. And we swear by exceptional style, quality, and sustainability. It's very important for us. All of our products that we make with Cutter and Buck have a singular objective, which is to be an iconic, versatile favorite. And so those three things, we want products that are recognizable, that are iconic. So like in the gifting world, it's great when people get something that they recognize, like, oh, I've seen these before. These are really nice. Emotional, Stephanie, you mentioned emotional support water bottles, right? This kind of a thing, but also those things that are very recognizable. So those iconic things are very important for us. And then versatility is super duper important. Obviously, Ashley's, on the paddleboard. We really see ourselves in this place all the time in the Pacific Northwest, where we're gonna go to a meeting, but we might have to, bike down a mountain to get home, or we might have to go paddleboarding on Puget Sound, later today. These are the sorts of things, are the kind of the key little places in our mind we like to go with it. And then favorites. We want to make all of the products that we have super comfortable. Stephanie, thanks for already shouting out. You have the Adapt on, super soft inside, has a great fit. It just makes for favorites. And so we really, really focus on that. And then of course, sustainability has been important to us from our founding by first making super long lasting products. Somebody, even Kate, shouted out, like, we don't want stuff in the landfill. That's our goal. We want stuff in your closet. We want it handed down to kids. We want it passed along, eventually just upcycled in some way. That's what we really aim for in super high quality products. Our brand sales globally last year was our highest ever, $150 million plus around the world. We have lots of great partnerships, with Snappy, with the NFL, with Major League Baseball, with Pebble Beach, Amazon, Fanatics, you name it. We do a lot of great commercial partnerships in the US where we offer our services, like what Eric explained there, in world-class decoration fulfillment out into these partnerships. So both, people are both choosing Cutter and Buck because of those iconic versatile favorites, but then also with this world-class decoration fulfillment that Eric explained, we're able to do things for users like you all, where we're delivering really, really fast. So our single unit decorated turn time is currently standing at 2 days. So we are pretty much the fastest in the world at small runs. And that's exactly what we see building up with Snappy. Is it's everybody individually, placing their order, that we individually fulfill it. And we're as good as anybody in the world at that. And so we've leveraged those partnerships into a lot of great business out there.
I want to
So yeah,
speak just to
that's
this concept of like the favorite, and we did a informal
absolutely.
poll internally. I think if you were to ask a random Snappy employee, they would say that their favorite is a Cutter and Buck piece. And so I see them all the time. It's one of those things that people just love, and I get constant positive feedback. So I think
That's great.
I think that's a really good transition to Joel, from hearing about you talk about Cutter and Buck too. So swag is oftentimes has an acronym attached to it. So when we hear the word swag, we hear stuff we all get. So We're here to change that narrative from stuff we all get to standout wearables and goods. So, Eric, I would love to hear a little bit more, and Joel, about where we see the future of swag heading.
Yeah. So there's a PG-13 version of that where it's not stuff, but something.
Yeah.
Well,
Use your imagination, right?
but we'll we'll stick with stuff. And I think it really is something that we're seeing. So Joel and I have been doing this for, I'd say quite a while. And I can remember distinctly some of the first moments of exposure that I got into this space. I was at a trade show in Vegas. It happens every year. And I remember distinctly walking down the aisles, and it was just booth after booth of a generic bag that was sourced in China. And while sourcing in China in and of itself is not bad, it's that when there's no thought behind the design, where it's all about how can you get the cheapest available product out there. That was the industry when I first started about 20, 22 years ago. And I think the future is very different. What we're seeing now is more brands in the space, more people being very intentional and thoughtful about the product, like Cutter and Buck is, and making sure it's the right stuff that's delivered to the right people, the right time, and it's something that people actually want to wear and use. And that's one of the things that we really are seeing and we are focusing on swag as a gift. What are you seeing out there, Joel?
Yeah, we're seeing that a gift, a reward, an award, a thank you, all of those things kind of work well. And when it particularly, versatile sportswear fits into those things, that's when it really just hits that that tuning fork. People get really excited about that because whether it's that thank you or the award or the gift, it's kind of depending on how you define or what your needs are for that. Something that they'll wear and love and have close to them, put on their own body. Those are like love. It's like love language of things. So people really enjoy, getting a product that they're really going to love and use. And then, when it comes down to what, many of us also have a have an idea of how that also becomes promotional, where that product is also a great thing for those people to go out and wear, and they're very proud of the company or their supplier or their customer, or whoever gave that to them. They're very proud of that, they're proud of the garment, they're proud of the sportswear, and then they're out there wearing it all the time. So yeah, that's where for us, the premium sportswear really fits in, is that people are excited to have it, and then they use it, and then it gets your message out there, and then they every time they put it on, they're like, oh, my company gave me this, or oh, my supplier gave me this, or oh, my customer gave me that. It just hits all the notes all at the same time.
Love it.
Amazing. All right, so we've already covered a ton of really great things, but here's what the rest of the agenda is going to look like today. So, we're going to take a look at what swag looks like this year, how we can tie in swag pairings to your Q1 events. We'll talk about systems and moments planning, smarter swag next steps, and then, of course, we're going to leave time at the end for questions and answers. My teammates Bryce and Sarah will be monitoring the chat and responding to questions. And then for some of those larger topics that you all have, please drop them in the chat. We'll make sure that we save time at the very end for Q&A, to have a larger conversation with both Joel and Eric about those.
Amazing. So, as we're thinking about swag, what swag looks like in 2026, Joel, you had a comment about what Cutter and Buck is looking at from a brand perspective, and it's that versatile piece. And that really resonated with me because I'm thinking like, okay, what does the landscape today look like, and why are we in this landscape of, particularly when it comes to apparel? I think back to, COVID times and when there was a massive transition from everybody in the office to all of a sudden everyone being remote. And I think what that did is it loosened up this concept of what am I wearing to work every day? I remember for me, I would wear a button down and slacks to work every single day. And then all of a sudden, I transitioned into quarter zips or hoodies and ball caps. And I think even with the return to office that we're seeing for some of our customers, there is that loosening of what is acceptable to wear at work has broadened a little bit. And we're seeing that with quarter zips, with a lot of the stuff that we're doing through Cutter and Buck. So I'd love to hear like what are some of the trends that you're seeing in terms of the types of styles that people are ordering and how that may have shifted from 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, Eric, you mentioned wearing trousers and a woven shirt or a dress shirt every day, right? So it's like if there's one business I wish, I'm glad to not really be in is the dry cleaning business because that's one that
Yeah.
has really been affected. But you know what people call on my around my dining room table soft pants and hard pants, and like everyone wants to be able to wear their soft pants all the time. But that kind of language it kind of extends into the office now, right? And so how we even think about it is like work from anywhere is that you need to be appropriate where we're trying to fit is get to that place where you're appropriate where if you have to drop into a office meeting you have to drop onto a Zoom meeting like this or you need to run out to a client's office you need to you can be working from anywhere and you're going to be sitting at home some of that time, right? But you want to be able to get up and be super versatile in that. And we're just seeing that in our customers choices. So we follow more, kind of macro consumer trends than we do fashion trends at Cutter and Buck. We're really interested in what we see people like traveling in. Like, okay, cool. A lot of people love like a little cozy thing like this to travel in. Cool. Let's examine that category. But you're on to the point. A couple weeks ago, my kids tell me like, Dad, quarter zips are all over the place. Quarters. I'm like, no kidding. It's been the leading category of growth at Cutter and Buck for like 5 years. So like it was great that the Instagram got on it and whatever TikTok, whatever happened, like it got like quarter zips, quarter zips, quarter zips, and so we've even had to like even take a moment to be like, let's explain the difference between quarter zips or half zips, or let's rename half zips as quarter zips, these types of things. But people really love a quarter zip, and it's been, Eric, as you mentioned it, and the quarter zip is great because it allows you to put it on almost over almost anything and it really dresses up if you're just wearing your t-shirt and you're like, oh, I'm gonna throw in a quarter zip because I got a Zoom call to go. You throw in that quarter zip and you look dressed up and like that's really a cool thing. And then you're like, cool. Oh, wait, I'm gonna go to the gym after work. I'm still gonna do that. And like, oh, I'm just gonna keep the same quarter zip on because it's super versatile and comfortable underneath. And so there you're just getting these multiple uses of it. And Eric, yours is standing up real nice, your collar's there, these types of things. Like this is the kind of thing. It looks great and presentable. And that's why it's been a great category in a piece for us to go after. It's been more that on the women's side, it's now kind of come on stronger that a quarter zip, whereas we heard for years and years like we couldn't sell quarter zips or half zips to women because women didn't want to pull them on over their heads. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, that's been completely thrown out the window, and women have no problem with putting on quarter zips now. Like it's all of a sudden become a thing. But we're really watching that. So basically, quarter zips are a part of a collection that we would have like layering, and that layering is really great. It advances that versatility. It allows you to give kind of a nicer item to people as well. And so like that's been a huge growth category. So layering and outerwear we're doing more business now in layering and outerwear than we are, say, doing in dress shirts, where we used to have dress shirts used to be, frankly, before the pandemic, 2010 through 2019 was our number one sales category was woven shirts. So what we call dress shirts or button downs or buttons up, depending on what people call them, that used to be number one. And now layers is the number one category that we have. So we're just really watching that quite closely. We don't, so those are 10-year trends. Like, is this going to stick around? Yes. Layers are going to stick around for a while. A lot of us are in our careers where we've now gotten used to that work from anywhere, work lifestyle. And it's like, so layers are going to be here. So let's keep going.
That makes a ton of sense. All right. So, speaking of layers, this we got a couple of layer pieces that we just wanted to highlight, like where merchandise is in the public zeitgeist. This is so fun. So, this is actually something that Timothy Chalamet, in conjunction with another designer, created this piece, and it was one of those things. I think it's a great example of where well thought out, intentional design can convert into actual like a merch moment. And lo and behold, won a bunch of Oscars. We go to the next slide. Another great example is Duncan. This was from, speaking of the Super Bowl, this is from last year's Super Bowl. There was a commercial with Ben Affleck, and then that translated from the commercial into an actual line of merchandise that was sold. And we're going to talk about systems and moments in a minute. These are really good examples of moments and how you can take maybe what would be a louder design or style choice in a moment-based gift versus some of the system-based gifts.
Exactly. So, swag really is a wearable billboard. Eric, walk us through the stats on our brand new workforce study to talk about why branded apparel works.
Yeah, so every year we go out and we survey employees within the platform on a bunch of different questions around employee recognition. And so we ask some questions around swag, and these stats are like super fascinating. So over 70% of people say that they wear their clothing with the company's logo on it outside of work. That speaks to this concept of versatility. Now, I will frame that and say if you're handing out a really cheap t-shirt, the chance that they're going to wear that outside of work is low. But if you're being intentional and you're investing in the items that you're actually giving out to your teammates, then they're going to wear it. Like this piece, I wear all the time when I go out to the grocery store or if I'm walking around downtown Seattle. Almost 80% of people said that wearing swag makes me feel more connected to colleagues. And I think that again, this is not just in isolation. I think if, as a company, if you really are being intentional about your culture, about the values that you're promoting within your organization, swag is a natural extension to enhance that within your teammates. And then the last is almost 90% said that wearing swag makes them feel proud of their company and mission. And I want to tell just a quick story of where this can really, if it's done thoughtfully, where this can highlight. So there's a company, Twilio, they're a cloud communications platform. And as part of their onboarding process, they require every employee to build an app within their platform and then demo it to either the entire company or to folks on their team. At the end of that demo, they are given a red track jacket with the Twilio logo on it. And it's such a great example of how swag can be woven into an existing process within the company and then used as a visual representation of how people have actually graduated. And so much so, they acquired a company, SendGrid, and they had the CEO of SendGrid go through that same onboarding process, built the same app, demoed it, and then had a ceremony where they gave him his red track jacket. So as you're thinking about how swag can be integrated into any of the systems you have, onboarding, birthdays, anniversaries, that kind of stuff, intentionality matters and really being thoughtful about how you can do it.
Amazing. So that is the perfect segue about talking about Q1 moments here. So, team, we would love to hear from you in the chat. What is your biggest Q1 event? Is it an onboarding wave? Do we have a sales kickoff? I know personally that our sales kickoff for Snappy is next week. Customer Appreciation Day, which is coming up at the beginning of March. So we would love to hear in the chat, what are your big Q1 events this quarter? Employee Appreciation Day, yes, the forefront of all of our minds.
It's like our second holiday here at Snappy.
It,
So we've got holiday season and then we've got Employee Appreciation Day. We love it.
mhm, absolutely. All right, so Q1 is very, very busy. Eric, Joel, tell us a little bit about why Q1 and swag are a good match.
Yeah, I mean, what we see, I'll kick it off and then Joel, any thoughts you have, but Q1 is busy, whether it be trade show season, folks are, traveling around, or whether it be company kickoff, employee appreciation, maybe reframing and thinking about planning for the year in terms of like, how do we want to reward or recognize employees? A lot of that happens in Q1. And we do see a lot of apparel as part of that. The other benefit that we have too, as I'm thinking about Cutter and Buck, is it's still kind of chilly. And in parts of the country, it's very chilly. And so when you think about layering, Joel, like you mentioned, like now is the time where they're like, okay, hey, maybe we should be gifting out to folks something that they can wear with our brand on it, but is also going to be super functional as they're out and about. Are you seeing anything specific, Joel? I don't know. As you're thinking about Q1, your head's probably right now in your fulfillment center in Dallas, but what are you thinking or seeing?
No, we're really just thinking about getting the most out of our investment. And so frankly, the earlier in the year that we can do an investment, whether that's a gift or a thank you, a reward or a recognition or other, the earlier that we put that out there in the year, the more of the year we're on a standard calendar fiscal year, the more of the year we get it out there. So I want to know, and I want to have a better understanding of my return on investment from early in the year. Like we might call it like you got to go all the way. If you're going to do something, you go all the way. So we're giving some knitted hats this season right now. Next week we're giving knitted hats to all of our employees across the country. Everyone say, "Well, isn't that a holiday gift?" It's like, no. Eric, still winter.
Yep.
Right. It's still winter everywhere, but also like let's get that out there and let's get the most out of that dollar spend as well throughout the year. So that to me is of high value of taking these sorts of actions in the first quarter for our fiscal year. So it's kind of as early in your year as you possibly can.
That makes sense. So you've heard us talk about systems and moments, and I just want to give like a basic definition and then what we see and why we think about those a little bit differently. So for us, we see our customers pretty consistently use us in these two big buckets. So systems are, okay, I want to have an ongoing program where I am rewarding or recognizing our employees. So that's going to be things like birthdays, anniversaries, onboarding. And maybe I want to have a piece of apparel that's part of this. And I have an example here in a minute that we'll share. When you're thinking about systems, this is going to be more of your corporate or your classic corporate like logoed gear. This is going to be colors that are going to be always in stock. So, think about the neutrals, the more restricted color palettes. It's going to be high end basics. So it's going to be items that are going to be wearable and usable, something that you're expecting or you want your employees to be wearing on maybe like a weekly basis. Um, Sustainable fabrics is something that we're hearing a lot about and is actually something that Cutter and Buck is at the forefront of, I would say. And then from a branding perspective, it's not about a big, bold, I'm going to put this on your center chest. Maybe it's a little bit more tonal, or maybe it's going to be a smaller logo because this is something that people are going to be wearing consistently. The inverse of this, or not the inverse, but a foil to it is going to be moments. So this is, think about big company-wide celebratory moments. This is going to be we hit 100 years as a company, as an organization, or we hit a big launch for our product, or we acquired a company, or we went public. There are all sorts of very specific, usually not repeated moments that you want to do something special. And special to us is, can you get the brand, your brand team, to expand outside of like just like the logo's got to be this and it's got to be colors. Maybe you can get them to think a little bit more creatively, like, hey, we want to do a graphic that's specific to the event. We want this to be a Dunkin' Donuts style jumpsuit where everyone's walking around with a big, bold logo. Or you can do limited edition colors. I've seen our customers have used this color is only used for this specific year that we hit some sort of milestone. So that if people wearing it, they're like, hey, he was at the company at the moment they hit that milestone. So there are ways that you can change and shift swag within both systems and moments.
Something else that I see too as a quick add-on that I'm having conversations with our customers now is the reason swag is such a great thing to talk about in Q1 is also for your employee resource groups or affinity groups and really mapping out the year to celebrate employee diversity. So something else to think about, swag isn't just for the moments that we're talking about, but you can also think about different cultural things that happen within your teams.
Yeah, and Steph, we actually do that, as you know, because I think you're involved in a
Yeah,
couple of the ERGs. But we'll have ERG specific logos that we can put on our products, and we can celebrate moments there by sending out that collection with those logos.
exactly. It's a great segue to a slide on what not to do. So, Eric, what's your advice for creating swag that people wear long after the event is over? Angel.
Well, I will say choose items that are going to meet what Joel had talked about from a durability and a versatility perspective. So I would rather that you not spend money on swag if you're going to choose like a low quality item and reserve that money for maybe a higher quality product that you're sending out less frequently. So I know I started all the way on the right-hand side, but I think quality really does matter. And that's one of the things that we really focus on is making sure we are picking partners that are going to have a durable piece that people are going to want to wear and use. You should also be really intentional with your strategy. We talked about systems and moments. What are you trying to accomplish? Zoom out on this. We'll talk about that in a minute. But really be deliberate when you're walking through what are your options and then why you're using swag as part of it. Um, One of the benefits of on demand for Snappy is that you can offer sized items, so which is always sort of a hurdle for our customers. If you're pre-purchasing product and you're trying to sort of forecast what people want, doing it on demand allows people to go in and choose their own size versus you saying, I think I'm going to have a certain number of larges or extra larges. You want to tie it into company goals, and then you want to think about what's the life of that product after the event. Is it something that people are going to wear on the weekends? Is it something that they're going to wear and show up on a Zoom call? So the secret is designed for repeat wear, not just the event.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and there are benefits with this. So the benefits are is if you are intentional, you are thinking about the swag, you're thinking about whether or not people are going to wear it over time. It will actually provide a positive ROI from a cost perspective. So you're going to see less waste because you're not handing out something and then people are not they're not then tossing it in the trash or donating it. You'll see it show up more frequently. I think a great like litmus test would be if you are handing out great swag. If you walk into your office, you're on a Zoom call, and a lot of people are wearing your branded merch, you've done a good job. Versus if you handed something out and no one's wearing it, then maybe you should rethink the strategy. You're going to get brand exposure. Joel mentioned this earlier, but there's a sort of third vector to this, which is not only are people getting something that they can use, not only are you recognizing them with that, you're also getting brand exposure. So if I'm going to the grocery store in a Snappy piece, I can't tell you how many times people ask me, what is Snappy? And then I get the opportunity to explain what I do. And who knows, maybe that means that they're going to start using Snappy. You don't have to reorder as much, and then people are just generally more satisfied. If you get a high quality piece from your company, you're not going to be thinking negatively because it is a direct representation of your brand.
Amazing. So we learned about system and moments a few minutes ago, and we have a few examples. Eric, what did Sidecar Health do to welcome new employees with their swag?
Yeah, so probably one of our number one use cases for swag within the platform is new hire onboarding. And this is such a great example. The Sidecar Health and their insurance company, they wanted to do a hooded sweatshirt, a zip up hooded sweatshirt for every new hire. And so we worked with Cutter and Buck to set up a program with one of their pieces that's done on demand. The Sidecar literally just had to send us their logo. They set up an automated campaign that's tied to their HRIS system, where every time somebody joins the company and they're marked as active, on the first day after new hire, they get an automatic gift. They get to pick their size, and then we ship it to them. Joel and team, they embroider it in a couple days and they drop ship it directly to the new hire. So this is a great way if you think about systems. You can set this up once. You can just sort of make sure it's running in the background, and then everybody is getting a piece of branded merchandise on time and of high quality.
Amazing.
Something I just want to shout out to how Snappy does it too is that security of those addresses and such. So that we talked about work from anywhere is that when those new hires come on, in a lot of companies, those people are, distributed all around the country and maybe around the world. And that's something that we do the declaration on demand, we present it, but then we have provided a secure way. Snappy provides a secure way to send that address to us so that there's no issue about security or otherwise. So every employee is happy to individually put in their address and off we go.
Yeah, that's a great call out.
Perfect. Now let's talk about, we just talked about new hires. Now talk about swag and anniversaries and why those are such a good fit.
Yeah. So another customer of ours, they had their 100-year anniversary, which is phenomenal, right? And so they really wanted to celebrate that they had been in business for 100 years. So their graphic design team created a specific logo, this 100-year logo, and we were able to create a collection of items, all Cutter and Buck, that where the logo was going to be embroidered. And what was amazing about this is I think they had over 2,000 employees able to go in. They saw a collection of maybe it was like 12 to 16 items, a variety of quarter zips, of polos, of jackets, different colors that were available. And each employee was able to go in, browse, pick an item that best suited what they wanted, whether, if you think you're in the Pacific Northwest, maybe you want a jacket, or maybe if you're, in Florida, you want a polo, although not now. It sounds like it's still kind of chilly there. But you could pick something that matched your style and what you wanted to do, and then we just got drop shipped. So it's another great use case of like if you have these key moments that's really you want to celebrate something, we can handle that and we can do it with a high quality good.
Amazing. So we are coming up towards the end here and we will have questions and answers. I do see some folks are already dropping the questions in. That's fantastic. Please continue to do so. Now choosing the right swag. So Eric, why is it important to pair swag with the event?
So we use internally a framework that we call CABO, which stands for culture, audience, budget and timeline, and outcome and intent. And so it's fun, we always make a joke that we're going to Mexico, we're going to ask questions about Cabo. But really, what this framework does is it's designed to illuminate what is the right item that should be used for this particular event or this particular system. So some questions you should be asking yourselves as you're starting a swag journey for either a Q1 event or an ongoing program is what is this event for? Why are we handing out swag in general at this event? Who is going to be there? The people that are getting items, it dramatically varies or changes the way that they're going to use those items. I was talking with a customer that gave us an example of like, hey, we've got an audience that ranges everywhere from techs to execs, meaning we have people in the field that are servicing, there was a telecom company that are servicing units at apartments. They have a distinct need or desire for branded items that's different than the execs maybe that are sitting in the boardroom. So knowing who the audience is really does impact the types of items that you should be choosing. And then you should think about behavior and what you want the long-term outcome. How do you want people to remember it? What are you trying to do? If it's like a company kickoff, maybe you have a particular theme that's part of that kickoff. Maybe you're trying to drive everyone towards a similar mission. How can swag support that? What can you be doing from a branded perspective or item selections perspective that will drive that behavior? And you want people to remember it. I don't know, Joel, if you have any thoughts on what people should be thinking about when they're selecting swag or branded items.
Yeah, I think it's really about, you said the last one, the outcome, which is, that thinking, being thoughtful, caring about that end of what the objective is. Many of us get assigned this and maybe we don't know what it is that it is, but it's really important to take a moment to just think about that and then be sure that the swag lines up. An example that we did, kind of two examples. We did one quickly was that once we had a big anniversary, and so we did a custom item. Everybody got one thing. We took sizes for months and da da da. We made it at the factory, the whole thing. Everybody got their item, and frankly, the result was kind of like, all right, it's okay. The next time we had a big anniversary, we took each group of employees based on how long they had been there. We put them into 5-year classes, the class of the 90s, the class of the 2000, like we put them into classes and we just gave them on demand, like in like a Snappy platform, we just gave each of them their own on-demand little selection or collection. So this group got white, this group got navy blue, this group got red, this group got gray in these different things. And the result was way, way, way more positive. And now we're still seeing people wearing their pride, not only of their company anniversary that they had, but also in the crew, their own little affinity group within the company. And that was an on-demand play versus the really kind of heavy lift of doing a custom for everybody, thinking it's going to be so special. And then just based on whether or not they liked it or not, they kind of never wore it again. And then the one with the groups, it went off like it was gangbusters. Everyone loved it. We spent about a third amount of the money on the budget. Everyone's happy with it. And I still see people every single day proudly wearing their class sweatshirts that we did from them in an on-demand environment.
Yeah, that's such a great idea is using like these visual signals to people to say, hey, I had the Navy one. So people look at them and they say, oh, they've been here for 10 years.
Yep,
They must know something about the business and maybe I can pick their brain. It's phenomenal. That's a
for
great.
sure. It's worked great.
It's actually something we did this year for Snappy's 10-year anniversary is we were grouped into different years of hire
Mhm.
dates. So I had a sweatshirt yesterday that was from the class of 2022. So yeah, it's just another example of how you can incorporate kind of those timelines into your branded items.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
And people
All right.
feel very cared for in that, whereas
Mhm.
it took 1,000 times more effort to do that kind of big custom thing. And yet people felt much more cared for and respected by having their own class, affinity set up. It was
That's
really cool way.
awesome. So we are now going to go through the best way to get started with your swag planning. So things to think about. Plan once, reuse often, build an evergreen collection, set up your logo early. This is a big one. We're in Q1, set it up now. Your future self will thank you. So, Eric, if you don't mind taking just a minute to quickly walk us through this, and then folks, we're going to get to our Q&A.
Awesome. So yes, I think if there's well, we've talked about some amazing ideas, some general concepts, but if you're thinking about what is the tactical next step that I'm going to take after this webinar, it's following these four things. So when we say plan ahead, we know everybody gets busy. I think that the strongest programs that we run are the ones where our customers come to us and say, "Hey, I have this need. I want to be able to set this up early so that when we're busy crunch time, say it's Q4, I'm not scrambling and making, less than perfect decisions." So plan ahead now, and then you can get that ready. The second thing is we call it an evergreen collection because what we can do is we can take your logo, we can apply that across everything in our on-demand collection, Cutter and Buck, and all of the other great brands that we have. And it's there when you need it. So that if there is an ad hoc, like, oh, shoot, I'd like to be able to send out folks that are going to an event that I want them to wear polos, you can pull the polos from that collection and you can just shoot them out to the specific recipients. The third is quality over quantity. If you are an elevated enterprise with customer with Snappy, take the time to reach out to us so we can create that collection for you. We will make sure that it includes Cutter and Buck. It's going to include some of our other brands, and we'll make sure that it's done right and it's something that you're confident in. And the last thing is this is your action item. Send us your logo and we'll get it started. We'll get it all set up so that the first three steps are all set and good to go for you.
Awesome. All right. Final part here, and actually relates to some of the questions that we've had in the chat. So, what are Snappy's swag solutions?
Yes, so we have three main things that we offer. We have on-demand swag, which actually Cutter and Buck plays in two of the three here, and soon to be in our third. So on-demand is where the product is not decorated until the recipient selects it. Bunch of benefits for you as a customer is you don't have to be buying up front, thinking about where you're going to store it. You don't have to worry about, if the logo changes and all of a sudden you're stuck with a bunch of inventory you can't use. And it's great from a cash flow perspective. Bulk and kits is say that you do have a very specific event that you want to celebrate, and you know that everyone is going to be getting the same gift. You can get the benefit of reduced costs by buying in volume. So we can store it at our warehouse and we can ship it out. It also expands some of the items you can do, or we can do some kitting. So you can imagine maybe you want to do this adapt quarter zip along with a notepad and you want to put it in a custom box. We can do that if you do bulk and kits with us. And then the third is, I saw some comments in the chat. We do have swag stores. So last year we acquired a company that offers swag stores and has a design editor. We've been integrating that into our platform and adding more and more of our partners. So what this essentially does is it's credits or points that people can accumulate and they can spend, or they can use their own credit card to purchase items. Now, I will say there's a caveat here. We don't today have Cutter and Buck in the swag store, but it's something that we're working towards this year. And so that'll be a big unlock is expanding the overall partners that are available in their swag stores. So we can hit you and we can help you on all three different vectors, and we do for a lot of our customers.
Beautiful. All right, folks. So we have a lot of great questions that have been asked in the chat. Bryce is doing a fantastic job of answering many of those questions in real time. There were a couple in here that looks like were just sent to us, so I want to make sure that we address these. Giselle, I'm taking a look at your question. Can logos items be ordered one by one, or do they need to be ordered in bulk? We have both options available. Eric just went over those, so we have the on-demand and we have the bulk and kits. Is it possible to select one specific swag item instead of offering a collection or multiple items? There is. We at Snappy believe in the gift of choice. So it comes down to kind of that one size doesn't always fit all. And so when we think of things like I might have four hooded sweatshirts, and so if I'm offered another hooded sweatshirt, great, I love them, I live in them. But that might not be everybody's first choice. And if they're like, you know what, I've got 6 coffee mugs already, I want something different. So they decide to choose a water bottle or a 3/4 zip. Eric, can you speak a little bit more? That's just kind of what I see as on a customer front. Can you talk to us a little bit more about kind of the gift of choice and also the single item?
Yeah, I think so. We are definitely flexible, and you have the capability. If you want to send just one item, say that the intent is you want everyone to have this specific jacket, and it's part of some larger outcome that you're trying to drive, we can definitely do that. Steph's point about the gift of choice is, and one of the huge benefits of doing this on demand is you're not going to be restricted to just one item. So there is that, there's massive upside where you're meeting people where they want to be, where it's an item that's most relevant to them. So we encourage and recommend our customers to do that, but there are definitely scenarios where it's like I just want everyone to get this one piece, and we see that all the time in the platform.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Is for pricing. If a budget filter is set, so example, $20 to $25, does that reflect the total cost? Are there additional charges for logo customization, setup, other fees that they may not be aware of?
Short answer is no. So there aren't, well, I guess that was a two-part question. It could have been no or yes. The budget is all it does, it's all inclusive. It includes the item, through our on-demand, we can do basically a variety of infinite like logo customization. It includes the fulfillment and delivery to the recipient. We do have a service fee that's applied on top, but the budget itself is all inclusive of the item, decoration, setup, etc.
Amazing. Does Snappy deliver swag globally?
We do. We have, and this is Cottonbuck is currently not available globally. Something that we're looking at potentially in future years. But we have a couple different. The way that we like to think about it to maximize cost savings for you, but also balance it with having a wide variety of options globally, is we do what we call globally fulfill or globally available, locally fulfilled. So we work with several different fulfillment and decoration partners across the globe in about 7 different locations that can decorate and then they will deliver within that country. So you're avoiding things like customs duties and taxes. But we also at the same time offer items that are decorated in the US that are shipped FedEx DDP. And so we can deliver to 179 countries. It does impact some of the budgets, but whenever possible, we're trying to source it within a country to save time and cost.
Amazing. Joel and Eric, Joel, I'll pass this to you first. What are some of the common pitfalls to avoid when creating swag?
I would just say that, yeah, most of them have been covered here, which is just giving away, just trying to give away something to give away something. Better to not give away something. Better to say thank you in a different way than giving people something that's just not good. I mean, really, you just want things that are going to last, things that people are going to use, things that people are going to like. There's three things. It's kind of what you, what everybody wants in their own personal life. That's what they want from their swag.
What about logistic setups? So things like logos and placement. So high quality logos is number one. Make sure you're
We
you're working with your marketing team.
Sure. Like from our standpoint, we replicate all logos as well as we possibly can on whatever the fabric substrate is. And we have tremendous experience, specialty. We're gonna make that decoration look dynamite. So even it's better to say have it look dynamite rather than say, oh, we want it to it's like let us do that with great expertise. But there's lots of different placement options now and such, and people like different placements for different reasons. There's kind of trending placements and things like that. So we're able to do those things. But it's great to work with your partner at Snappy too. If it's like, okay, well that vest doesn't offer a left sleeve placement. That's a kind of that's a kind of small little thing that kind of comes up from time to time.
Sure. All right, looking through more questions here. Let's see. Expansion on some of our lower cost items.
Yeah, so I saw a couple of notes on that, and I totally recognize, it's hard if you've got a $25 budget. One thing I would always keep in mind is that's kind of unique is because we are drop shipping these items, individual shipments that are going to recipients, versus say if you're going to a trade show and you're buying in bulk and you're shipping it all in one big box or multiple boxes. There is additional cost that's involved with that. And so when you see the items that are available in the $25 budget, that's building in, which is actually, if you zoom out and you think about the fact that an item is being decorated one at a time. It's somebody's putting it into a machine to decorate it. They're then putting it into a package. Then that is being put on a truck that's being delivered to somebody's home address. We can still do all of that under 25 bucks. Like just like let's appreciate the moment that we live in for a minute and say that's impressive that that's able to be done. But it does limit what options are available at that price point, because shipping and handling is such a big cost at the lower price points.
Mhm.
Where we see cutter and buck items, the sweet spot for us is going to be in like the $100 to $250 range in terms of your budgeting. So that's high quality polos, that's quarter zips, some of the great outerwear that they offer. So I know that $25 is a big a sought after budget. And if there are some restrictions, like being funded by the government, and that's the constraint, but whenever possible, we encourage folks spend a little bit more money, invest in, instead of sending out things 5 times a year, maybe send them out twice a year and invest in a higher quality product.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Let's see. Lisa, we will get in touch with you after the event here. We will send a follow-up with the recording and a copy of the presentation today that we went over to everybody who is attending today to your email by tomorrow. Devin, we will be happy to follow up with you regarding sizing and extended sizing as well. Let's see. Can you still submit a request for a refund on custom branded unclaimed gifts? So, Ava, I think that depends on the type. So for bulk and kit, you're pre-ordering those items ahead of time. For on demand, if you send out gifts to your team and members of your team don't claim them, there is an expiration date on those gifts. So any funds for gifts that have expired are added back to your budget, your Snappy budget. And so that is something to think about there. Because items are ordered for bulk and kit ahead of time, those items will be yours to distribute as you need. Let's see. Claudia, this is a great question. And I know that we're coming up just on time here, but how would you measure the ROI or impact of a swag initiative? How do you know it was worth it?
Ooh, this is a good one. There's some statistics. So in the branded merchandise industry, there are a couple different trade groups. There's the Promotional Products Association International, and there's the Advertising Specialty Institute. Both of them do broader studies based on how the value and the ROI of promotional products or branded merchandise, how that's translated. And what they focus on is impressions. So it's more of like a traditional advertising mechanism or measurement. So the number of eyeballs that see your logo. And they've done a bunch of comparisons of the cost per impression